picking a landing location, you want that location to A, have loot, and B, be away from enemy players. You do not want to be contested by enemy players whenever you're selecting a landing location. If you're going to land with enemies, it's what we call a 50-50. Because there's a 50% chance that they're going to kill you or you're going to kill them. And dying off spawn is the easiest and the fastest way to lose points. So you want to pay attention to this number here, the number of squads still in the dropship. And you also want to pay attention to dive trails. You can see all the dive trails of squads jumping out of the dropship. So here, a lot of the players jumped early. So Lava Fissure looks like a really good choice. The reason that Lava Fissure is good is because A, it's far away. B, it has good loot. And C, you can see that these squads are not heading in this direction. They're going towards here. So even though Lava Fissure is a pretty good distance away, we can do a technique called stretching to get there. I think it's about 850 meters away here. If you're going for a drop location that's more than 700 meters, you want to do this technique. You drop your speed by going straight to around 130 and then speed up by going straight down to about 135. You can see the speed here on the left side. Doing this technique will allow you to land farther away from enemies and get to the drop location that has better loot. If your landing location is within like 600 meters, you shouldn't have to do stretching, but it's safe to either way. Then after that, you want to focus on where the circle is moving and how to make rotation safely into the circle. Heading straight for the middle of the circle is a mistake that I think a lot of new players make. You don't want to head directly for the middle of the circle in all cases because that can leave you surrounded on all sides from teams rotating in. A pretty safe option that you can do is rotating late into the circle. Every circle in Apex Legends is predictable. It is the same set of ending circles every single time that you play. So as you play more and more ranked games, you will recognize, oh, this is a geyser ending, or this is a skyhook ending, and you'll know where the end circle is going so you can better prepare for it. And this circle happens to be pulling towards skyhook, and there's a couple of endings there that I know. There's a train station ending, there's an ending over here by a pile of rocks, there's an ending here at this compound, it can end here on this side of the mountain, it can end here at the tower, it can pull to this tower, it can also end in drill site, but most likely it's going to be ending in skyhook if it's pulling towards this area of the map. You can tell because skyhook is the most central point to this red line. The safest rotation from here is going to be for us to rotate back towards Overlook, since we know that there's no teams here, since this is the corner of the map, and we can just rotate through Epicenter. The only teams we're going to have to worry about is maybe a team in Epicenter that might be lingering around there still looting, and the teams that come out from Refinery. So from here, we've moved from the cave towards Epicenter. This is the rotation that we're trying to make because we decided that that was going to be the safest decision for us. We are looking to third party a fight if we can find one, or take an easy fight because we do need loot. I still don't have any attachments on any of my weapons, and my teammates and I all have white armor, which puts us at a huge disadvantage late game. You do not want to be going into late game with 3 white armors. It is very, very, very hard to win fights against people that have purple and gold armors late game. So here, we're making the rotation. I'm trying to grab some more attachments off my teammates and some more shield cells because I don't have many. And one of my teammates spots an enemy team ahead of us. And I think these guys were focused on another team, and we happened just to walk up right behind them, which made them very easy loot for us. And this is a perfect example of a fight that you want to take. A one where you're desperate for loot, but it's at a super advantageous position to where those guys didn't even have a chance of fighting us back. So now we started the fight with 3 white armors and we come out with 2 purples and a blue, which puts us in a very, very good spot for the late game. I also have full attachments on my main weapon. So now that we have good loot, good meds, good armor, we are going to be focusing on rotating into the circle for late game. So to recap, your goals for the mid game are to rotate safely, pick fights based off your loot. If you have poor loot, you want to take really safe fights such as third partying, or super advantageous position fights such as if you have high ground on a team. If you have good loot, you just want to rotate as safely as possible to the final circle. So, now that we realize that it's a Skyhook ending, there are a few power positions in Skyhook. One of the best positions that you can get is this center building here, because it has high ground on all of these buildings surrounding, and you can have really good situational awareness on all of the squads in this area. So ideally, we're going to try to rotate into Skyhook through this area because it's very safe. There's cover on both sides. And we're going to try to move into this big building and set up with our Watson. If you engage in a fight, you're very open to being third-partied late game. So the only time you want to take fights is whenever you're trying to take someone's position because you absolutely need it. Or, of course, if you get engaged on. You want to play very defensively. You want to play around your Watsonal and fences, your Gibraltar bubble and airstrikes to keep other teams away from you and create space for yourself.
47, 43 purple.
That's why we're holding on top of this circle building, because no other teams can push up onto us. The only way up is via ziplined, and it's very open, meaning that if anyone tries to push up onto us, they're very susceptible to being shot at by us on the high ground and other teams that are surrounding the area. So at this point, we know there's one team in the train station, and we know there's two teams in these buildings to our left. The team in the right building starts rotating towards the train station, so we start rotating in as well. Our Wraith sets a portal down so we can safely move across the open field. And we move into the back of the train station to wait on the second floor room until we hear the teams below us fighting. One team portals in the front door and begins fighting the other team in the main room.
I don't have my armor. 78 on the...
So all we have to do is keep our distance and wait for knocks on the enemy squads to go down. I checked the roof there to make sure that we're not going to get flanked while we make this play. So now that both teams are weakened by fighting each other, we just try to clean up the rest of the teams. 95 on the Wraith. Nice. There's a Wraith down here.
Oh, at the door. There's
114. He's down. And by doing this, we never had to take any team on in an actual 3v3. All we had to do was kill stragglers from the teams already fighting amongst themselves. Nice. Well played. And we get ourselves a win. This is a long video, so I'll recap the main points. For early game, make sure you land in a good spot. This means landing away from other teams and in places where there's good loot. And if you're landing somewhere that's far away, like 700 meters plus, remember to use the stretching technique I showed at the beginning of the video. During the mid game, focus on making safe rotations. Don't run directly to the center of the circle. Try instead to come in from a direction where you'll be less likely to run into enemy teams. Remember that you can also predict where the circles are going to finish and use that to guide your rotations. If you're low on loot, it's smart to engage an enemy team for more loot, but only if you're in an advantageous situation. You don't want to take on teams in a straight 3v3 if you don't have good loot. Finally, for the late game, find a good position and hold it. Defensive characters like Gibraltar and Watson really shine here. Don't fight unless someone engages onto you, and rotate into the circle whenever other teams are distracted fighting each other. Wraith Portal really helps with this. And for the very last tip, wait for an easy third party to close out the game. One last thing I wanted to talk about is sometimes having good gear can really help you out with your gameplay. If you're willing to spend a little bit of money on upgrades, my opinion is that having a good monitor and mouse is the most important thing for playing a shooter. When looking for a new monitor, you want something with at least 144 Hz and 24 to 27 inches wide, and between 1080 and 1440p. Whenever you're looking for a mouse, you want to make sure it's reliable with fast inputs. I personally use the G Pro Wireless by Logitech, which has been my favorite mouse since Apex was released. That's it for this short little video, guys. I hope that you all learned something, and if you guys want to catch my streams, I stream Apex daily over at twitch.tv/diegosaurs. I hope that you guys have good luck in ranked, and you guys can get Apex Predator by the end of the season. Good luck, guys.